the scanning electron microscope, TEM, SEM, okay, and TEM. This image is used to find the microstructure of a material. Right. The next one is estimation of mechanical and physical properties. The next one is extraction, dynamic response measurements. Then material sorting and chemical composition determination. So material sorting, as I told you, suppose the particular components are qualified for next step, or rather it may be sent to the customers. Okay, some of the components are rejected. This is called a material sorting. So usually this term is used in the heat treatment process. Okay, so in heat treatment process is used for relieving the internal stresses. Okay, during machining or forging, and sometimes the it is heat treated for the purpose of machining. Okay, some of the hard materials can be is not usually machined. That may be the hardness may be reduced by using the heat treatment process, and some of the material required hardening the material, that also will do it with this heat treatment process, right? So here we are having the many application of this NDE methods, right? So in this, look at this. So visual inspection, dye penetrant methods, this is used only for surface flaws. Okay. So coming to this one, so flaw detection and evaluation, then leak detection. These things may be used. Leak is also available. Then magnetic particle testing is not to be used for material characterization. This may be used for only for flaw detection. Okay. And the eddy current testing, ultrasonic testing may be used for characterization purpose, and also radiography, right? These things may be used for characterization purpose, and also acoustic emission also. Okay, so based on the waves received, you can identify the hardness. Okay, actually I did with this ultrasonic testing to identify the hardness of a steel, right? I did experiments with this eddy current testing as well as the ultrasonic testing. I have used both the methods to characterize the material. Okay, so both things I have used for the ultrasonic testing. I have used for the measurements as well as the characterization. Okay, so heat treated components is tested with this ultrasonic as well as eddy current testing. Okay, how the hardness is varying. Okay, when the hardness varies, how the waves are changing. Okay, everything I have studied already. Okay, this is for your information. And this thermography may also be used for the flaw detection. Okay, and one are ND methods are used. So there are applications at almost any stage in the production or life of a component, life cycle of a component. Okay, so what do you mean by life cycle? That is the from a design stage to end of its product life. Okay, that is called the product life cycle. Okay, so this is used to assist in product development, to screen or sort incoming materials, to monitor, improve or control manufacturing process, to verify a proper processing such as heat treating, and to verify proper assembly, to inspect for in-service damage. So for these things, we may use for this DT methods, and the six most common entity methods: physical inspection, liquid penetrant testing, magnetic particle testing, ultrasonic testing, eddy current testing, and X-ray or radiographic testing. Okay, so these are the main topic in our syllabus. So the visual and liquid penetrant testing in the first unit, then this is in the second unit, ultrasonic in the third unit, this eddy current test in fourth unit, I think fifth unit, right? Yeah. Then X-ray is in the fourth unit, eddy current test in the fifth unit. Okay, and so on. So these are the commonly used entity methods, right? So this diagram depicts, so this one the radiography, and this one is the ultrasonic testing. He is having the prop in the left hand, and right hand he is having the display. Okay, I think this is, I think, well-made instruction. So next we move on to visual inspection technique. So we have discussed about what is visual. Okay, by viewing with our naked eye or with aid of optical aids with lightings. Okay, by inspecting using this optical aids and with lightings is also called visual inspection method. So this is the most basic and common inspection method. So in this, the tools include our fiberscopes, borescopes, magnifying glasses, and mirrors. Okay, so fiberscope, borescopes, they are like a, I think what he's having in his hand. Okay, is visible viewing through this uh, equipment. For best example, for this, you may be experienced with endoscopy. Okay, maybe some of you people have did with an endoscopy. Okay, in this, your tube is inserted through your mouth to your um, stomach, right? So inside that, in the tube, we are having the camera, lighting, everything. So it will capture the clear video of inside our stomach. Okay, and magnifying glasses, that is a microscope or a simple hand glass, handheld glasses, everything. And mirrors, maybe the dentist. Dentist, they are using the mirror to view the inside parts, right? And portable video inspection unit with zoom allows inspection of large tanks and vessels, railroad tank cars, and sewer lines. Okay, so this will be moved around the railway track or large tanks, right? Then robotic crawlers permit observation in hazardous or tight areas such as air ducts, reactors, pipelines, etc. Okay, so in the air ducts, reactors, pipelines, this are, we are unable to access the inside of the pipes. Okay, in that case, we can use this kind of robotic crawlers. This will travel inside the pipes so that it will capture the clear image so that we can identify whether any defect is present inside the pipeline or not. Right. Then optical aids used for visual inspection. First one is a microscope, then borescope, endoscope, flexible fiber optic borescope, then telescope and holography. Okay. So these are some of the optical aids used for visual inspection. Microscope, it is an instrument used to see objects that are too small for the naked eye. Okay. The science of investigating small objects using such an instrument is called microscope. Okay. I think you have everyone having uh, used to the your microscope in your laboratory classes, so that you all know about those things. I don't I think I don't need to explain much about these things. And magnification of f. F is the focal length of lens, and 10 is constant minimum distance at which object can be seen by unaided eye. Okay, and borescope. So this is an object. The image will be viewed here. Okay, so this is a flashlight adapter. It gives the a light source. Okay, so that inside of this one we can view from here. Okay, so this is available in the diameter of 2.5 millimeter to 19 millimeter. Length is So this will travel inside the small pipes, ducts, whatever may be. Then endoscope. I think you all have maybe some of you may have experience with this, especially specialty no focusing features, diameter less than 1.7 millimeter and length is 100 to 1500 millimeter. Okay, so this is a laser source, this is the illumination poroscope, and this is the imaging poroscope, this is interferometer. Okay, so this is outer casing, this is moving inside this one. Okay, this may be rotated with the help of the compressed air or the tube, turning of tube. The next one is flexible fiber optic borescope. This is also called as flexiscope. So why this is called as this one this is yeah, flexible one. Okay, so that we can insert this tube in any place. Okay, like a wavy place or a small turning ducts, whatever maybe. Okay, so one stainless steel sheeting protects the image relay bundle and working length is 60 to 365 centimeter, diameter of 3 to 12.5 millimeter. So next one is a telescope. This eye, it consists of EM lenses. Then CCTV used for this purpose. Okay, so by using this telescope, we can view the distant object in nearby. Okay, the next one is holography. So obtaining accurate three-dimensional image of a given object. So first stage is 2D interference pattern and second stage is 3D image by laser. Alright. Then applications. So inspection of plant systems, components for any leakage, abnormal operation, etc. Then misalignment of parts in equipments. Okay, sometimes the alignment is not proper. That can be identified using visual inspection. Then corrosion, erosion, cracks, fracture may be identified using the visual inspection. Then defects in new or repaired weldments such as gross surface cracks, lack of penetration, tear cracks, excess reinforcements, porosity, mismatch, etc. Okay. Then minute discontinuities with the help of optical aids in pumps, compressor, turbo generator parts, instruments, etc. Right. So these are the some of the applications of visual inspection methods. Okay. So நம்ம வெறும் கண்ணால பார்க்கறது or with the aid of some optical aids. Okay. எதெல்லாம் நம்ம பார்க்க முடியும், எதெல்லாம் ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ண முடியும். That is the use of the visual inspection method. Right. So in this also, very minute cracks present in the surface may not be visible in the naked eye. Okay. For that purpose, we may use the magnifying glasses. Okay. Or if it is not identified, move for another step. That is another method. Okay. So next one is liquid penetrant testing. So before moving to liquid penetrant testing, I'll show you some of the defects present during the manufacturing process. Okay, just a minute. Yeah, just a minute. It is taking too long to open. Okay. So now just this is for the purpose of which method can be suitable. Okay. So for that we'll have some the discontinuous and defects present during manufacturing. Okay. So what do you mean by discontinuous? In material engineering, discontinuous means lack of continuity in any component due to the presence of a break or gap or in it or presence of some other material instead of basic material. That is called a discontinuous or a defect. Okay. Break or gap is a mechanical discontinuities. Presence of some other material. That is called a chemical discontinuities. Okay. So suppose the chemical composition is changing. Okay. During a casting process, you may be casting with a different material. The chemical composition obviously changes. Okay. Then mechanical disconnect is it is abrupt missing of material in a component due to poor design, processing, assembly, and working conditions. Okay. So this may be the main reason for mechanical disconnect and sometimes presence of extra material of same kind which is unwanted. That is also called a mechanical discontinuities. And the examples of defects here it is listed something that is cracks, blowholes, gas pockets, porosities, pinholes, laminations, lack of fusion, lack of penetration, undercuts, spatter, etc. Okay, so the cracks may be present during casting or welding or forging. Okay, blowholes may present during casting or welding process. Gas pockets also the same. Porosity pinholes. These are also coming in during casting or welding process. Then laminations. This may be due to forging. Okay. Then lack of fusion, lack of penetration, lack of these things due to then undercuts. This may be available during the welding as well as casting process. Then spatter and so on. Okay. Then the chemical disconnect is the presence of different material in a component that are actually not desired. That is common form due to sometimes the presence of found because of a chemical or thermal reaction. Okay, so these are coring tungsten inclusions, corrosion products, etc. Okay, okay. And next one is a defect. A discontinuity will become defect when only it is harmful in the sense affecting the life and performance of the common. Okay, and this is designed by codes and standard for its specified applications. And all the defects are discontinuities, but all the discontinuities are not defects. Okay, keep in mind all the defects are discontinuities, but all the discontinuities are not defects. Uh, Not on this, the third sentence, this may be asked in your competitive examination also. Then whether it is a discontinuous or a defects. How to identify whether it is a discontinuous or defect. So criticality of the components. Then next one is the size of the discontinuity, type and shape of the discontinuity, population and distribution of the discontinuities, location of the discontinuity, orientation of the discontinuities. Okay, based on these things, we have to identify whether it is a discontinuity. Okay, change in size and shape. So maybe a fold or distortion or warpage. Okay, these are due to residual stresses. Okay, during the machining or forging operation, these things may happen. Right. Then nature of defect. So the defects can be a repairable. It can be classified as a repairable and irreparable. Okay. So repairable can be after repair we can use it. Okay. Irreparable. It becomes a scrap. The next one is types of defects. So planar defects, that is a 2D, and volume defects, that is a 3D. Cracks, lamination, lack of sidewall position, cold sets, these are called a planar defects, and porosity, flow holes, inclusion, cast pocket, these are coming under voluminar defects. So location of the defect, whether it is in surface. So this one, A is a surface defect, and B is an subsurface defect. Okay, because the defect is present near the surface. Okay, and interior defect. Look at this. See, it is nearly center of this object. So this is called the interior defect. Then orientation of defects. Okay, so is this one we need to know. Okay, because எது வந்து சர்ஃபேஸ் இருக்கு எது சப்சர்ஃபேஸ் இருக்கு அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து we must know. Okay, likewise the so first one is the longitudinal defect. This is parallel to the axis of this object, right? And next one is transverse. That is nearly perpendicular to the axis of the object. The next one is angled defect. This is the angled defect placed some angle. Okay, maybe in horizontal axis or vertical axis or whatever may be. Okay, that doesn't matter. So these things are orientation of defects. Okay, so this longitudinal triangles, angle, these things you must know because in during the eddy testing, orientation must be okay because of magnetic the magnetic line flowing from the axis of this shaft. What will happen? The A defects will not be identified. Okay, B will be identified. C, it is partially identified. Okay, so for that purpose only, I am showing those things. What is a longitudinal defect? What is transverse and angle? Here it shows some of the examples. That is a type of gas porosity commonly found in weld metal. Okay, so look at this. Here we C and D, and this is the weldment. First one is uniformly scattered porosity. Okay, look at this. These dots are called as porosity and cluster porosity. Second one, look at this. The porosity are clustered in some point. Here it is on color, cluster, and this is another cluster, and this one is and third one, it is a linear porosity. Look at this. The porosity holes are nearly a linear. That is a straight line. Okay, so this is called a linear porosity. The next one is elongated porosity. Look at this. A large cavity. This is due to elongated porosity. The each elongated and form structure like this. Okay, it may also form a different structure also. And look at this. This shows the section showing the locations of slag inclusion in weld metal. Okay. So what do you mean by slag inclusion? During welding, the slags are mixed with the molten metal. Okay, so the slags are included with the molten metal. Okay, so first one near the surface under the root of a single pass weld. Look at this. Here, these are the slags as well as in the root. And next one between weld beads in a multiple pass weld. Okay, so this is a single pass weld. This is multi pass weld. Okay, so look at this. This is about three pass welds. Three times the welding is done. Okay, one by one after one, three times weldings are done. Okay, so this is a slag inclusion. It forms like a layer. Okay, so this is a defective one. And third one at the side of the weld near the root. Okay, so the slag is included in this area. Yeah, the side of a weld near the root. Root is the bottom side. Okay. Here also it shows some slag inclusions. Here it is available. Here it is there. Here and in this place. So this diagram shows the some of the defects during welding. So this is undercut. Okay, during welding, it removes some of the material in this base metal. Okay, இங்க பார்த்தோம்னா நமக்கு ஒரு cavity இருக்கும். Okay, this is called a undercut, and this is overlap. We need the weld up to this one, but here this one is overlapped. Okay, so this is called a overlap. So this is overlap. And coming to this one, here this undercuts, as well as here we are having the overlap. Okay, here also we are having the undercut and overlap. Look at this. Here the base metal is removed. Okay, here it is deposited over the base metal. So that is the difference between the overlap and undercut. And here the underfill. Okay, so this is not penetrated up to this one. Okay, actually we need weld up to like this. Okay, and here also there is an underfill. It may be like this, but here we are having the underfill of the weldment. Okay, here also the same. So mostly the weldment will be like this for a V joint. Okay, here we are having the underfill. This is filled up to this one only. Okay, okay. So up to this point, I'll stop today's class.